Hello everybody, my name is William and welcome back to another Roblox Bee Swarm Simulator video where today I would like to give you all 10 early game tips for noob players in Bee Swarm Simulator. So like you just started the game or well maybe you're a little bit further into the game, I don't know, depends. This should apply to everyone who's in the newer player genre, the early game. So pretty much tip number one I'd say is play with others. You know, most people would think you should play in a private server so you can get a bunch of the loot for yourself and stuff. But it's honestly better to play with a few other people at least. Playing with other people who are like much better than you. So let's say my main account helping my alt account right here. My Gummy Bee's ability that drops goo onto the field. My alt account can also collect and get some extra honey. Or maybe see how my alt account collects the flowers and stuff, right? See how the flowers aren't regrowing? Like, let's say I don't have a sprinkler, then as you can see, all the flowers just die and they don't replenish as fast as, like, would be useful. So using a sprinkler from another account or one of your friends planting down their sprinkler for you, like this, see, I have the Supreme Saturator, which is the best sprinkler. So if you have a friend who's, like, really far into the end game, or at least has the Supreme Saturator, they can help you a ton, because as you can see now, the flowers are staying. Not completely, but they're much better than before. So yeah, much less flower death, I guess. Also, stuff like festive gifts will help newer accounts. Goo ability from the gumdrops from the Gummy Bee, or even using like gumdrops like this. Boom, just use a gumdrop. And there you go. Now my alt account is getting extra honey. So pretty much if you play with other people, it'll benefit you and benefit the other player if you guys are on like the same level. Because yes, you can still help each other if you're both noobs. That's what I used to do with one of my friends, Jeremy. Me and him used to play Bee Swarm together a lot and just help each other get better at the game and stuff. Moving on to tip number 2, saving materials. Now, what a material is like an ingredient right here. So if we scroll down, we have fruits and seeds and stuff like that. So we have 26,000 strawberries. We got a bunch of sunflower seeds, pineapples, blueberries, and all that. If we save those, we can use them to craft items later in the game, like the Elite Red Guard. You can use extract, which you can use this stuff to craft these items. And you can use these, like strawberries, to craft red extracts. And how you do that is you come over here to the blender, actually. Here, and you can go ahead and just craft stuff using these little fruits and, I guess, vegetables, sort of. Well, no, it's just fruits. He might add vegetables. I hope he adds vegetables. That would be cool. But anyways, basically you can use items to craft things inside the blender here. It looks confusing, but really it's extremely simple, all right? It is the most simple thing in the game, pretty much. So if you save your materials and you don't expend them, you can actually get better items, better equipment, and it will carry you further through the game rather than using a bunch of materials to boost. Because if you have no good equipment, why would you boost? Because, well, you're not going to make much anyway. So the better equipment, the better, which kind of just simply makes plain sense on its own. And moving on to our third tip, doing quests. And what a quest is something you can obtain from an NPC, which an NPC is this guy right here, like Black Bear or Mother Bear over there. And so basically, once you've claimed a quest from these NPCs, you can go over to the quest tab and you can see what you need to do to get some awesome rewards from the NPC. So you come back to the NPC after you've finished the quest, and that quest should give you some nice rewards. You can actually get eggs from questing. I got a diamond egg the other day on my alt account from Black Bear, so that's pretty cool. You can actually get a mythic egg from Black Bear as well, but that's the final quest, which is gonna obviously take my alt account a long time to get. The next tip is when you can, and this is very obvious, but I feel like I should point this out because, well, I made a mistake on this a while ago. And it was pretty stupid, but, you know, it's crafting items. And basically what that is this. Crafting, like, the red guard right here. So basically set yourself a goal, I guess. So normally I'll just set my goal to be whatever I need to get, right? So let's say, what do I need to get on my alt account right now? Oh, right, yes, the porcelain portahive. Right here's what the porcelain portahive is, and it's 250 million honey, which is a lot of honey for my alt account. So basically I'll just save and pretty much just aim towards getting this thing rather than getting anything else. Like, I could have bought the Spark Staff, which never buy the Spark Staff is a terrible idea. But instead of buying the Spark Staff, I bought the Porcelain Dipper, which is almost 2 times the price, a little more than 2 times the price. So I went from using the Golden Rake right here to getting the Porcelain Dipper, which definitely was a good jump. You know, it was a smart jump to make, and I'm making a lot more by skipping ahead on items. So it's good to set goals for yourself and aim towards those goals rather than just going for smaller things that you could get right now and all that. Another tip is really simple, but it is grinding. And basically grinding, by this I mean grind out honey, you know? So basically you can get a boost from like the HQs here. I'm in the blue HQ, there's a red HQ, and then there's the mountaintop booster, but we're gonna focus on the blue and red HQ right now. So pretty much, I could just use the blue field booster, and it gives me a field boost for the Pine Tree Forest right here, or any other blue field. It gives you a random blue field, except for Stump Field. So basically, now I get 100% more pollen from the Pine Tree Forest for 15 minutes. So it's best that I farm in the Pine Tree Forest up here. These boost multipliers, by the way, can go up to 3 times, which is 300% more pollen. So yeah, just activate the boosters whenever you can, and just grind around in that field if you want to get honey quicker. But yeah, pretty much just grinding. Tip number 6 is get bees above anything in this game. Bees are so important. So basically, you can get bees by just... Well, actually, hold on. I'll go back down here for a second. So you can get bees by purchasing eggs right here. See, I can purchase a bunch of basic eggs, and then I can use these basic eggs inside of my hive. Where are my eggs? Where on earth? Oh, here they are. I have 117 of them. But I can just hatch an egg on my hive, which I'm obviously not going to do that because I'm very happy with the bees that I have at the moment. Though I don't want to replace any bees right now. But if you have an empty hive slot, this is what an empty hive slot looks like. See how this honeycomb has no, like, little face in it? That's an empty hive slot. So if you have an empty hive slot, go ahead and put, like, an egg in it. Make sure it's a basic egg. Oopsies, I nearly removed my vicious bee. But if it's an empty slot, go ahead and put a basic egg there. I don't advise you use any other eggs because I think you should save those for later in the game to donate to the Wind Shrine to boost with. So save your diamond eggs, mythic eggs, all the eggs that you get from early in the game, like especially star eggs. Actually, here's a trick. So you could save your star eggs for later in the game when you get all the other bee types, all the other gifted bee types, like the bomber bee and stuff like that, all that, etc. inside your hive. Not discovered, but inside your hive, and you can take a star egg and actually get a guaranteed gifted mythic bee type if you don't already own one. But basically, just get bees, you know? If you have an empty hive slot, get some bees, or what you could do, if you already have the max amount of bees in your hive at the moment, you can actually expand the size of your hive by coming up here and purchasing your hive slots. So basically what I like to do is I like to get as many of these bees as possible, as many hive slots as possible, until it's a price to the point where I should get a different item before getting another hive slot. So really it's just get bees, 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 equipment, and then get bees, 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 equipment, bees, 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 equipment. But I didn't do that when I was trying to get the porcelain dipper, so I suggest you get the porcelain dipper if you have the golden rake, rather than get more bees. But after you get the porcelain dipper, then just go for bees until you can afford something else before those. Tip number 7 is something I mentioned a little bit earlier, but I didn't explain really why you should save your diamond eggs. But basically, there's this thing in the end game called the diamond mask, and this right here is the diamond mask. It is really overpowered for blue hives, but it costs 5 diamond eggs, which at the moment, I don't even have because I used all mine. But I have already crafted the diamond mask, so it's fine. So pretty much, it'll just make your life later in the game so much easier if you just save your diamond eggs. I know it's tempting to use them to get yourself a nice legendary bee, but it's honestly better just to save them for later. Tip number 8 is where to casually grind. I suggest casually grinding in the mountaintop. That's what I do with my alt account. So basically what I do here is I just come up here with my alt account, ignore the Mondo check. Normally that's not there. But basically what I'll do is I'll just grind around in this mountaintop field because it gets me the most pollen. So, like, let's say if my field boosters right here is on cooldown, like, see how it's a 1-hour cooldown? When my field boosters, all of them are on cooldown and I still want to get honey, this is the best field for me to farm in, you know? Obviously, it won't always be like that. Later in the game, it'll be different fields. Later in the game, in fact, you shouldn't even casually grind, you should boost instead. Another tip, and this applies to mid-game players as well, is hunt for sprouts. So see, there's a sprout inside the mushroom field right here. Basically, what a sprout does is when I pop this sprout, or collect all the pollen that this specific number tells me to, from the specific field here. Once I pop the sprout, it gives me a ton of items, like see a bunch of fruits, crafting ingredients, tickets, honey, treats, all that. So you can just get a bunch more items like this. You just run around, collect a bunch of items and all that. You can also get royal jellies from here, which is actually very helpful because for noobs, royal jelly is a nightmare to get. So yeah, pretty much just hunting around for sprouts. That'll help. Moving on to tip number 10. Save your codes that include boosts in them. I didn't save this, but you really should. It was really dumb of me to use them earlier in the game. So basically what I mean by that is if you go over to the system page, there's this promo code thing right here that you can type in a bunch of codes here. And I have a video explaining what all the codes give you. So in the top right-hand corner, if you go and click on that, you can go ahead and watch that. But I'd recommend you listen to this part because this is the last tip of the video. But save the codes that includes boost into them. So basically what I mean by that is if you do a code that has a boost early in the game, you're not going to make as much as you would later in the game when you're at like mid game or even end game. So if you save them for end game, you can make tons more than you would have at early game. So it's better to save them for later, you know? So basically early game is just really a lot of saving, and it's really important to make the right choices. Also, here's a little bonus tip if you're still here, because if you're still here, I absolutely love you. So basically what you should do is level up your bees. Use treats though. Use treats rather than these things, because treats are not used as a crafting ingredient unless you're crafting the honey mask. But if you use treats, you can level up your bees and give them more bond, which more bond will give them a higher level. The higher the level, the more stats. So yeah. So that's about it for today's video, guys. Do not forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next Roblox Bee Swarm Simulator video or any other video that I publish. Goodbye!